In the previous lesson, I showed you how to apply materials to the objects of a scene. In this lesson, I will show you how to edit a material before or after you have applied it to a surface. In this example, I want to edit the wood material that is placed on the table. To edit a material, I have to find out which material has been used. To find the name of the material, I will double-click on the dining set to enter the group, and then I will double-click again to select its surface. Next, I will click on the Sample Paint icon, which can be found in the Materials tab. With this tool active, I can identify the material on any surface by simply clicking on it. Once I do, the name of the material appears in the Materials tab. When the material is identified, I will click on the Edit tab to see all editing options. From the Picker drop-down, you choose the way to edit the color of the material. The first method, which is the color wheel, is a diagram used to represent the colors of the visible spectrum and their relationships to one another. The second method, which is called HLS, is a color model that defines colors by the three parameters hue, lightness, and saturation. The third method, which is called HSB, is a color model that uses hue, saturation, and brightness as components for defining color. While the last method, which is called RGB, is the color model, which defines the different levels of red, green, and blue, respectively, to create any color on the visible color spectrum. Right next to the Picker drop-down is the Undo Color Changes icon. By clicking this icon, you can restore the initial color. The Match Color of Object in Model icon is used so you can choose a color from an object within your model by simply clicking on it. On the other hand, the Match Color on Screen icon is used to select a color by clicking anywhere on the screen. I will click on a random spot on the screen and notice the result. However, since this was not the color I wanted, I will restore the color by clicking on the Undo Color Changes icon. The options I have shown you so far were all about the color of the material, not the image that was used. So, to edit the image of the material, you need to go to the Texture settings. When Use Texture Image is enabled, you can use an image for the material. If you click on the Browse for Material Image File icon, you can browse the folders on your computer and select the image you want to use for this material. In this example, I won't select another image, and I will click Cancel to close this window. By clicking the Edit Texture Image in External Editor icon, the Windows Image Editor opens so we can edit the image. However, it is preferable to edit the images in Photoshop since it has more options and greater capabilities. Now, I will close the editing window to show you the rest of the options. The two value fields below are used to change the width and height of the material's image. For example, I will type the number 1 in the width field and notice the change in the table. I want you to notice that the height changed proportionally because the Lock Aspect Ratio option is enabled. If we do not care about the aspect ratio of the image, we can click on Lock Aspect Ratio once to disable it. Now I will change the width to 0.2 meters. Notice the result on the table. If the result does not satisfy you and you want to restore the previous width and height values, click on the Undo Width Height Changes icon. Last but not least, from the Opacity option, you can define how transparent the material will be once it is applied to the object. The smaller the value in this field, the more transparent the material will appear. Since this object is a table, I want the material to appear without any transparency, so I will set this value to 100%.